Aujourd'hui, je vais parler de kind of a surprising question in the realm of fire, actually. And it boils down to, what if the aim isn't just to get to the regular or even fat fire? What would be the proper methods or strategies to get to an even higher tier of wealth, say 5 to 10 million or beyond? Ayo, Zempak here. So now that I've been retired, I have a lot of time to just peruse the internet on the topic of my choice, and that's usually fire, right? I saw this question that I wanted to elaborate a bit more on. The actual questions, I'm going to read the whole quote from a Facebook group on fire, of course. I see a lot of posts how people are growing their net worths from 100K to a million, which is relatively simple through retirement accounts, maybe 2 to 3 rental properties, smaller portions in stocks or crypto, etc. It's still hard to execute, of course, and takes time, but the path is pretty clear and simple, right? My question is how to aim and reach higher, say from 1 million to 5 to 10 million and beyond. For those in that range, what do you change in your mindset and strategy, and what are your main investment vehicles? Ooh, what a fun one. So point number one, I just want to address how the author basically assumes getting to $1 million is something we all know the solutions to already. And surprisingly, I actually totally agree, okay? I mean, honestly, even the traditional investment advisors have been harping on how easy it is for a regular person at a regular retirement age should be able to sock away about $1 million worth of a nest egg, right? So long as that they have time, right? The basic advice is very simple. Start earlier. You can get away with just investing a few $100 a month. Do that consistently for a few decades, and a minimal 7-figure nest egg is possible for literally everyone, right? This is why occasionally we see these surprising news items of how some janitor can even save up millions by the time that they die. Yep, definitely possible, and has always been done with the frugal types of this country already, right? Of course, we are interested in fire and don't want to wait until we're 60 or 70. And still, the author is correct, right? I mean, if Mr. Money Mustache can get to his desired retirement number before 30, right? I believe it was a little bit less than $1 million in his case, but his has definitely grown past that amount by now, right? And even I was able to get to my first 7-figure net worth in my early 30s, then absolutely it can be done without any strange or hidden investment techniques. Love it. $1 million these days, that should be the baseline, right? If you're thinking about retirement. See, point number 2, now we're getting to the meat of the questions, right? The author asks how to get from 1 to 5 to 10, right? Weirdly phrased, but I'm just going to say how to get to 8 figures, right? That is because that's a really wide range from $1 million to 10 million, right? This is a much different question than 100K to 1 million in absolute numbers, if not the same 10x scale, right? And my answer to this question is actually no, we don't need to change the mindset or investing strategy at all from how we got to $1 million, right? It's still just index funds, general ETFs, sprinkle in some real estate as a bond equivalent. At the moment, I don't have any bonds because the returns are so poor, but I'm not against bonds as a concept, again, should the economic situation change, right? Especially if inflation and the Fed rate goes up, right? Now, making 9 more million seems like a tall order, right, if you're starting from 1. But the reality is that even a $10 million net worth is not going to put anybody at the market-changing level, right? Those are issues for like billionaires, not us. And frankly, I know I am well on my way to an 8-figure net worth because I've been retired for a few years. At this point, and my net worth just keeps increasing. You know what I've done to cause this increase? Absolutely nothing. The whole point is just to let your money do the work, and boy, does it do its job much more diligently than a person ever could, right? And I will give you my anecdotal personal evidence, right? By the way, it took me about 5.5, almost 6 years to go from 100K to $1 million in net worth. Of course, that was while I still had a very well-paying corporate job. And by my estimate, going from 1 million to 10 will probably take me about 15 years. I'm in the middle of this period right now, and the vast majority of that period would be when I'm already retired. So is 15 years a long time? Absolutely. I'm not saying I'll definitely get there either, okay? It's a long enough period that lots of economic hiccups in the macro sphere of the world can happen, right? Or even in my personal life, right? I might get sick or, have to spend $1 million on medical treatment, things like that. But still, 15 years is much shorter than even most people's working careers, right? And I can guarantee that for the vast majority of people, getting to what, 8-figure net worth is almost unimaginable, right? Most people can't even, they don't even think they can be millionaires, much less in the tens of millions, right? Now, finally though, there is a point number 3. It's almost a side note that I want to mention, because the author technically asks he asks for what about beyond 10 million? And here is where I would actually say the attitude and mindset will have to change if you want to get to that amount, right? If you want to aim for a net worth of, let's say, 100 million, or join that exclusive 3 comma club or whatever, right? And the reason is that just letting your money do the work to get to that level will take several decades, and we cannot say we get to that amount in any reasonable sense that the word early would connotate, right? The reality is that the FIRE mindset of being efficient at managing your money and leaving the traditional workforce to pursue what you love is not particularly focused on the type of specialization that you would need to get you to the 9 figures or more club, right? To get to those stratospheric heights, you actually must specialize and solve some society's problems that others haven't, right? That usual mindset for FIRE about investing, which is about diversification, it is great for protecting wealth and hedging against volatility, but all great fortunes are made and lost via specializations, right? I mentioned lost as well, by the way, because honestly, people who can specialize and devote themselves to their craft so much that they can make a great fortune actually also has a tendency to be so stuck in their brains that it's hard for them to see when it's time to diversify and protect it, okay? Some of them definitely then goes on to lose the same fortunes due to the inability to adapt to the times. Example would be something like the company of Kodak, right? My point is, if you've already gotten to FIRE and you want to aim for the moon, go for it, right? Just understand the specialization will get you there much faster. And that's a path much less steady and requires most likely a great deal of timing and luck, as well as talent on your part, right? Anyway, I love that in most personal finance articles, the advice is about how to save a few bucks on your groceries or how to buy your first house. But only on the FIRE group, in Reddit or Facebook, do I hear questions about, how do I get to $10 million or more? That just really warms my heart. I mean, I did work for a giant tech company, and honestly, I feel like my colleagues and friends should all be aiming as high as at least 10 mil, but I don't know. A lot of people just want to keep up with the Joneses. Well, I want to buy my wife a vineyard, okay? The only question is how fancy of a vineyard, of whether it'll be in a first world country or a developing country. So, what's your plan to get to 8 figures of net worth or more, right? What would you do with that money if you did have it? Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that social media nonsense, or whatever. Cheers. I'll approach it.